Lived in a little town called Calvert. That's Aggie country. And I would spend several weeks with her, and there was no air conditioning in the house, and we would sit up in the bedroom, and the fans would blow, and the cicadas would sound, and the train whistle would blow, and I'd hear the adults downstairs talking, and all that meant peace and security and all's right in the world to me. So every time I hear a train whistle blow or the cicadas sing, I think about my grandmother's house and how that made me feel. So it's nice to be back here in Texas. And you have such fantastic leaders here. You know, I remember meeting Kay Bailey Hutchison, after whom this convention center is named, and just instantly thinking what a wonderful woman and leader she was. I remember when I was the chief executive officer of Hewlett-Packard, we went through a little merger with Compaq, you may remember, that was based here in Houston, and I had a decision to make about where to put a factory. And Rick Perry does what Rick Perry always did. You know, Rick Perry called and Rick Perry worked it. And so when I was running for the Senate in California, people used to say, you outsourced California jobs. It's true, I outsourced them to Texas. Lots of them. And I was privileged as well to play a very, very small part when your great Governor Abbott ran for election the first time, to come down here and try and help him out. So you are blessed with wonderful leaders, and this state is blessed to show the nation the way. You can applaud, it's okay. You know, there is a lot of talk in the media today and speculation. You know, who's going to endorse when? And you know who I'm talking about. So I just want to be the first here in Dallas and Texas to say that I am ready to make a big announcement tonight. I am endorsing for Senate in 2018, Ted Cruz. Thank you. And you give him a warm welcome home when he's here on Saturday, and I was very proud to stand alongside him and fight alongside him for the principles and the values and the ideas that we hold dear. And the other thing, of course, that's talked about a lot in the media is all that divides us. All that divides us as a party, maybe. All that divides us as a nation. And so tonight I'd actually like to talk to you about the things that unite us. Let us begin by saying, Hillary Clinton cannot be the next president of the United States. Yeah. Like Hillary Clinton, I too have traveled hundreds of thousands of miles around the globe. But unlike Mrs. Clinton, I know that travel is an activity, not an accomplishment. And having met most of the world leaders that Hillary Clinton has met, I also know, having chaired the advisory board of the CIA under President George W. Bush and served on his NASA Space Commission and served on the Defense Business Board, I also know that Hillary Clinton has gotten every single major foreign policy challenge wrong. Every single one. But of course it goes much deeper than that. It goes much deeper than that. You see, Hillary Clinton fundamentally is corrupt. And we saw, yet it's not just that she lies, although she does lie, about her emails, about her servers, about Benghazi. She lies about all of that. But every day we learn more about the corruption. Just today, another news item came out about how the Clinton Global Initiative was engaged once again in steering business towards a friend of the Clintons while she was Secretary of State. So we are united in who we're against. But I think we need to be united by who we are and what we stand for. And so I want to talk to you about that as well. And to do that, I want to tell you a story from a place a long way away from here. Something that happened to me in one of my travels around the world. Before I decided to run for president, I was chairman of an organization called Opportunity International. It is the largest microfinance-based organization in the world. Microfinance is when you give very, very small amounts of money. You lend small amounts of money to people who are desperately poor. and you teach them and train them and help them to become entrepreneurs. And I can remember leading a global board meeting in New Delhi, India. At the end of the board meeting, I decided that I really wanted to go visit with some of our clients. And so I traveled to the slums of New Delhi. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the slums of New Delhi, but they're pretty grim places. Mountains of trash, marauding animals, people piled on top of each other, sewage in the streets. And as I climbed up a rickety ladder to meet with 10 of our clients, all of whom were women, I steeled myself to see desperation in their eyes, the desperation that I saw all around me. And yet, when I got to the top of that roof, I sat down and I did not see desperation in their eyes. I saw focus. I saw determination. I saw pride. I saw hope. Because we had done a lot more than hand them money. We had said to them, we're going to take a chance on you. And don't we all need someone to take a chance on us? I did. When I was a secretary, we all need someone to take a chance on us. We said, we're going to extend a helping hand. Don't we all need a helping hand sometimes? I needed a helping hand when I battled cancer. My family needed a helping hand when we buried our younger daughter to the demons of addiction. We all need a helping hand sometimes. But it is also true that every single one of us the world over has enormous potential, usually far more than we realize. The truth is, everyone is, as my mother told me many years ago, each of us are gifted by God. My mother told me when I was 8 years old, she said, what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. And I have learned in the course of my life that indeed we are each gifted by God, even if we don't realize it, that every single one of us has enormous potential, and that every one of us, no matter our circumstances, every one of us truly wants to live a life of dignity and purpose and meaning. And we know that work done well brings dignity, and family gives us purpose, and faith gives us meaning in our lives, and that is true the world over. And we also know that when people don't have an opportunity to work, they lose their dignity. And when families fall apart, people lose their sense of purpose. And when there is no faith, when there is no spiritual foundation in people's lives, they become adrift. We know that. So I think it is worth asking, if that is true of human nature, and it is true of human nature all over the world, if that is true, why is it that more things have been more possible for more people here than anywhere else on earth? Why is it that this is the only nation on earth where a young woman could start the way I did? I typed, I filed, I answered the phones for a little 9-person real estate firm. That same young woman would one day go on to become the chief executive of what we turned into the largest technology company in the world and run for the presidency of the United States. That's only possible here. It's only possible here. And the question is why? The question is why? And I'll tell you the answer. Because our founders built this nation on 2 incredibly powerful ideas. Our founders were students of history, and they were students of philosophy as well. By the way, the reason I had to start as a secretary is I studied history and philosophy in college. And I dropped out of law school, unlike many of the brilliant lawyers who are leaders in this state, after less than a semester. In any event, they studied history, and they knew that human nature doesn't change, actually. Times change, cultures change, human nature doesn't change. And so they knew 2 profoundly true things about human nature. Number one, they knew what my mother taught me. Everybody has potential. Everybody has God-given gifts. Everyone has the desire and the capacity to build a life of dignity and purpose and meaning. And so, they said, this will be a nation where every individual has the right to find and use their God-given gifts to fulfill their potential. They have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That was their way of saying, find and use your God-given gifts, find your path. And they said, and this was the radical part, it was radical at the time, it is visionary still, and they said that right comes from God and cannot be taken away by man or government. The second thing they knew about human nature is this: power concentrated is power abused. Power concentrated is power abused. Power